everybody. Thank you for joining. If you're watching this, I'm just waiting for the other member here to join. We're doing a duo today, so I'm just waiting for the other person to join me here. I'm going to give it one more minute here to see if he joins. If you've done one of these duos before and you have any comments to make as far as if I should be doing something different, please let me know. Drop a comment and I will follow those instructions. All right, I'm going to get started here. I will see if the co-presenter here tonight in this OKclarity live video joins. Again, like I said before, if you have done one of these Instagram lives before and know how to have a joint one, please let me know, and I will try to add him if I'm missing something here. Okay, so the topic of this evening is going to be physical wellness in relationships, what men need to know. So this will be a 30-minute long max, so we'll max out at 30 minutes. We're going to leave some time at the end for Q&A. That's going to be around the 25-minute mark. If you have any questions throughout, please feel free to drop some comments, and we will try to address those as they come up. At the end. So, the topic this evening, like I said, is physical wellness in relationships, what men need to know. So, the issue here is that a lot of men struggle with being on top of their physical wellness in relationships. And in marriages or in any significant other, kind of putting themselves and taking care of themselves in relationships. And what we want to tackle tonight is, number one, really understanding the importance of that, and number two, how can men be better at communicating their needs, their physical needs, but also their needs in general in relationships, and how can that benefit everybody, both partners in the relationship. So first of all, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Yonah Fenton. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I run a private practice in New Haven, Connecticut, called Meaningful Life Counseling, LLC. I specialize in working with couples struggling with relationship issues, both married and dating and premarital. As well, I do a lot of work with men individually struggling with relationship issues, as well as anxiety, depression, self-esteem, and stage of life challenges. So like we started off by saying, the presenting problem here that we wanted to discuss today, and our topic is prioritizing health and wellness for men in relationships. So maybe it's a little cliche, but we have definitely seen people, men in particular, get into relationships and kind of stop taking care of themselves the way they did prior to they're beginning their relationship when they were single. They were taking better care of themselves, and then they stopped doing that in relationships. And why is that? Right? That's the number one thing we have to discuss. Why is that? Why do men stop taking care of themselves the way they did? So, I'm sorry. They did prior. And the reality of the matter is that anyone who's married knows this, that once you get in a relationship with somebody else, everything gets a little bit more complicated. It's more complicated to put yourself first. It's more complicated to find time for yourself. It's certainly hard to find time for one another in a relationship, and we all know what can happen there. And certainly it's hard to prioritize your own health. But there's a two-part problem here, and I think that is, number one, is you're not taking care of yourself, and we're going to discuss some practical tips about how to do that. But number two, if you are not prioritizing your needs, if you're not prioritizing your physical need in this concept, in this particular topic, you're not communicating your needs. This is important to you. You want to be taking care of yourself physically. Your wife, your spouse, your partner wants you to be taking care of yourself physically, and yet you're not. And a big part of that is that you're not communicating your needs effectively. So to think of one example, someone can want to go to the gym every single day, and finds that there's other demands around the house, and he doesn't get around to doing that, and ultimately doesn't do it. And then you're left with the negative effects of that. So where's the breakdown there? And as a fitness, and I'm the person I'm supposed to be doing this with right now, and maybe he's on and I'm misunderstanding something as far as this works. And again, you're welcome to guide me along that if I'm missing something. But as a marriage therapist, the bigger problem in that is that the man is not expressing his needs. Why don't men express their needs in relationships? This is true in fitness. This is true in a lot of different areas. And the number one reason I have seen is that they're terrified of upsetting their partners. They're terrified of upsetting their wives. When a man puts out a need, puts out a desire, and that gets shut down for no bad reason. Let's say it gets shut down because there's just other needs. To focus on different things. Let's say a man let's say his wife gets upset for some other reason, right? But here he is, he put a need out, he put a desire out. For a man, that's a very vulnerable act, and it was shut down. What's going to happen then, more times than not, is that a man is not going to continue asking, because he's got the message already, which in so many words is it doesn't matter. He doesn't really matter, right? And none of this is intentional on either his part or his spouse's part or his wife's part, but it can really affect how he is and his happiness, and really his belief of what can happen in the relationship. The potential of his relationship goes down as he fails to be vulnerable and he fails to have his needs met. So this is really an important topic. I guess that's the ultimate point here. This really is an important issue. I apologize. Because as you're not having it met, right, he's showing up less in the relationship, and he feels like he's being showed up less for in the relationship. So everyone gains if a man has more success having his needs met, having his, in this case, taking care of his physical health. And both he and his wife coming together as a team to be able to do that. So how do you do that, right? That now let's switch over a little bit. We understand the problem. Again, the problem is that men do not express their needs. They do not take care of their health in relationships. And we have to know now is how can they? And I'm speaking directly to men right now. And the first thing I'm going to say is work with pushback and don't shut down. If your wife, if your partner, if your girlfriend, if your spouse is pushing back, right? Oh, I want this thing. And she pushes back and she gets upset. Your inclination is to shut down. That's normal, right? Oh, I'm not going to get what I need. I'm just going to shut down right now. I can't deal with her being upset. That's the last thing I want. And I certainly don't want to be the one causing that. So that's what your inclination is going to do. I encourage you, number one, do not do that. Work with the pushback. Don't be scared by it. She's pushing back for her own reasons, and those reasons are valid. You can talk about it, but don't be intimidated by the pushback. Work with the pushback and don't shut down. That's number one. Number two, if it is difficult for you to bring these issues up, to bring your needs up, to bring the importance of physical fitness up for you, then set a time to have that conversation. Spontaneous conversations are a little more difficult, but if you set aside a time and say, I want to talk to you about something important, when is a good time for you? That now already we both walk into that conversation recognizing that I'm going to bring something up that you might not like, but it's really important to me. You might hear things, you might say things that upset me, and that's really hard for me to hear. But I'm going to work through that because we set aside a time to do so. So the second thing I'm going to say as far as how do we deal with this issue is set aside a time to have a conversation with your wife about your desire to prioritize your health. So number one again is working with the pushback. Number two, setting aside a time to have a serious conversation. The third thing, on a very practical level, is learn about the most efficient way for you to fit physical fitness into your daily regimen. So learn about food prep, learn about exercising from home, right? Learn about things that show or that help you make your desire easier to accomplish, your goals easier to accomplish. It's really hard for you to go out to the gym at 5 p.m. when the kids are all coming home from school and it's dinner time. Well, it might be a lot easier for you to figure out another time. I could work out at home in 20 minutes, or I'm not gone for an entire hour, or I'm spending all of this time with food prep. Well, learn how to do that more. I'm sorry, I'm spending all this time kind of dragging food out and trying to figure out time to eat. That's a big part of fitness. Learn about food prep. And you know what the best part of this really is that you can do this together with your spouse, with your wife. Do it together, make it a joint journey, right? We're trying to be on the same page. I have this desire to prioritize my health. You can help me with that. This is going to help both of us. Let's get on the same page. Let's work together on this. And we can both figure out food prep. We can both figure out how to exercise better from home. So that's the third tip. The fourth tip is, and this is a little less centered to the relationship, but important nonetheless, is if you're finding finding as a man that you are not following through, right? So you've done all of these steps. You've had the conversation with your wife. You worked with the pushback. You maybe are working together with her to find out how to do this most efficiently. And if you're not, now you're still struggling with it, now is the time to reach out to a coach or to a friend or to your wife, even maybe, right? And have someone to whom you should answer so you can have some amount of accountability, right? You have someone you're accountable to, like a coach or a friend or someone else. And if you need guidance in how to work out most efficiently and how to meal prep and all of those things, then you can do that too. So I hope this was helpful for you. I'm running a little ahead of schedule, and that's okay. Um, I hope this was helpful to you listening. And if you're dealing again with this issue of, I want to prioritize my physical health, and I'm in a relationship and I recognize that there's somebody else who I have to answer to. I might have different priorities than I have. And I know and that's an issue in and of itself. And then when I do bring it up, maybe she pushes back. And when that happens, maybe I start shutting down. And then I have to deal with all of that. So this is a complex issue. It seems like a simple problem, but it seems the more we think about it, perhaps it's more of a complex issue. What I will say is, don't don't stop asking. Work with the pushback if she pushes back. She wants it just as badly as you do. Um, Set aside a time to have a good conversation. Meal prep, work out efficiently, and, and if accountability is an issue, find someone to be accountable to. So that was our topic for tonight. Physical wellness and relationships, what men need to know, 4 practical tips. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you walked away feeling more confident in prioritizing your physical health. Um, this didn't go exactly to plan today, but I do appreciate everyone who joined me in this. And I guess we will start the questions earlier. If anyone has a question that they would like to drop at this point, I will stick around for another couple minutes and see what comes up. Otherwise, we will wrap it up a little early here tonight. All right, so it looks like it's pretty quiet here on the questions. That's totally fine. So what I think we'll do is wrap it up here for the evening. One last name drop for myself. My name is Yonah Fenton. I run a practice called Meaningful Life Counseling. I specialize in working with couples and adult men struggling from anxiety, depression, stage of life issues, self-confidence. If you feel like this was helpful or this was useful use of time for yourself, please feel free to check me out. My website is Meaningful Life CT, the letter C like cat, T like Tom.com. And I look forward to maybe connecting with some of you guys over Instagram. Have a great night. Bye-bye.